Definition of sustainability development. Sustainability is ability to maintain resources and development over the long term. According to the Brinley Report 1987, it involved balancing economic growth, social well-being, and environmental protection. Sustainable development also aims to reduce poverty, improve healthcare and education, and promote equal opportunity while conserving natural resources. Global initiatives such as the Rio Earth Summit 1992, Agenda 21, and the Johannesburg Summit 2002 have strengthened international commitment towards sustainability. Achieving sustainability development requires cooperation among government, organizations, and communities to ensure long-term progress and environmental preservation.
To start off with section 2.1, let's look at the definition of EIA. First, it is a formal and systematic process used to identify, predict, and evaluate the potential environmental consequences of a proposed development project before any final decision or commitment are made. In simple terms, it acts as a preventive planning tool used to protect the planet. According to the United Nations Environment Programme (UNEP), it is defined as a tool used to identify the environmental, social, and economic impact of a project prior to decision making. Furthermore, EIA is a proactive process rather than a reactive one, meaning the assessment is done completely before any physical construction begins. Finally, the definition emphasizes that EIA is a decision-aiding tool rather than decision-making tool, meaning the report does not automatically approve or reject a project but instead provides objective facts to policymakers. Moving on to section 2.2, let's discuss the main objective of an EIA. The primary objective is to ensure that economic development is sustainable and does not come at the expense of long-term environmental health. Secondly, it aims to anticipate, minimize, and mitigate biophysical harm before it happens by creating a clear mitigation plan for the developer. Thirdly, EIA aims to integrate public opinion and community concern directly into the project planning process through public consultation. Lastly, its objective is to provide clear choices and project alternatives to decision makers, helping authorities select the most environmentally friendly and economically practical option available. Now, let's look at section 2.3 regarding the roles of EIA. First, it acts as a legal safeguard and regulatory checkpoint within the governance system, serving as the mandatory requirement written into environmental law for obtaining building permit. Second, it plays the role of an environmental watchdog and long-term monitoring tool, forcing developers to continuously monitor pollution and waste through an environmental management plan. Third, it serves a crucial role in protecting human health and local socio-economic well-being, acting as a shield to protect vulnerable local community and negative project impact. Finally, EIA plays a powerful role in promoting transparency, accountability, and democracy in development decisions by making reports available for public feedback and preventing secret agreement.
Today, I'll be presenting on Social Impact Assessment or SIA. First, let's look at the definition of SIA. Social Impact Assessment is a process used to identify, analyze, monitor, and manage the social impacts that may result from a project, policy, program, or development activity. It is commonly used by governments, organizations, and businesses before implementing major projects such as road construction, industrial development, or policy change. The purpose of SIA is to understand how a project may affect people's lives both positively and negatively. It aims to improve the equality of life of affected communities, protect social well-being, and ensure that development benefits society in a fair and sustainable way. In addition, SIA focuses not only on reducing negative impacts, but also on maximizing positive social outcomes. It considers factors such as people welfare, livelihoods, living standards, and social equality. By involving local communities and stakeholders in the decision-making process, SIA helps create development that is more inclusive, ethical, and people-centered. Moving on to the objective of social impact assessment. The main objective of SIA is to identify, analyze, and evaluate the potential social impacts of proposed projects on affected community. It examines how development may influence people's daily life, including their economic condition, social relationship, cultural practice, and overall well-being. Another important objective is to understand the needs, concerns, and expectations of stakeholders such as local residents, business, and government authorities. This ensures that different perspectives are considered during planning and decision-making. Furthermore, SIA aims to predict possible social change before they occur. By identifying potential risks early, project planners can develop mitigation measures to minimize negative impacts and enhance positive outcomes. SIA also encourages continuous stakeholder engagement throughout the project to support better planning, informed decision-making, and sustainable development. Next, I will discuss the roles of social impact assessment. One of the key roles of SIA is to protect communities and cultural heritage from the negative impacts of development. Projects such as industrial expansion or infrastructure construction can sometimes lead to displacement, economic disruption, or loss of cultural traditions. Through SIA, these risks can be identified early so that appropriate measures can be taken. Another important role is promoting inclusivity and equity. Vulnerable groups such as women, indigenous community, and low-income population are often more affected by development projects. SIA ensure that their voices are heard and that their needs are considered throughout the planning process. This helps achieve a fair distribution of both benefits and impacts. SIA also supports sustainable development by encouraging decision makers to consider long-term social, economic, and environmental consequences rather than focusing only on short-term economic gains. This approach aligns with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, which emphasize inclusive and resilient community. Lastly, SIA serves as an important tool for risk management and regulatory compliance. It helps identify potential social conflicts, community opposition, project delays, or other risks before they become serious issues. By addressing these concerns early, SIA promotes transparency, builds trust among stakeholders, and contributes to the overall success of development projects. In conclusion, social impact assessment is a valuable tool that helps ensure development projects are socially responsible, sustainable, and beneficial to both present and future generations.
Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. My name is Nur Amiza binti Zainuddin. Today I will explain the differences between Environmental Impact Assessment or EIA and Social Impact Assessment, also known as SIA. Both assessments are conducted before a development project is approved to ensure sustainable development in Malaysia. However, they differ in terms of their focus, impacts assessed, methodology, and stakeholder involvement. First, in terms of scope and focus, EIA focuses on the environment. It evaluates how a project may affect air quality, water resources, soil conditions, and biodiversity. On the other hand, SIA focuses on people and communities. It examines how a project may affect public health, quality of life, cultural heritage, and community well-being. Next, EIA assesses environmental impacts such as pollution, deforestation, ecosystem damage, and resource depletion. In contrast, SIA evaluates social impacts including displacement of residents, employment opportunities, living costs, and change to social and cultural conditions within a community. In terms of methodology, EIA uses scientific and technical methods such as environmental monitoring, laboratory testing, and data analysis. Meanwhile, SIA uses a more people-oriented approach through surveys, interviews, focus group discussion, and public consultation to gather feedback from affected communities. Lastly, stakeholder involvement is different in both assessments. EIA mainly involves environmental experts, government authorities, and project developers. In comparison, SIA requires greater participation from local communities, NGOs, business owners, and community leaders because social impacts directly affect people's daily life. In conclusion, EIA focuses on environmental sustainability while SIA focuses on social sustainability and community well-being. Both assessments are equally important in ensuring that development projects in Malaysia are balanced, responsible, and sustainable. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Tishami, and today I will be discussing how the Environmental Impact Assessment or EIA and the Social Impact Assessment or known as SIA work together to safeguard sustainable development in Malaysia. While the EIA focuses on the physical and ecological effects of a project, the SIA goes beyond that. It evaluates the social consequences before any decision is made. In this way, the SIA acts as a preventive mechanism, ensuring that community well-being is protected and that development is both balanced and inclusive. For slide 5.1, legal recognition of SIA. So how is the SIA legally recognized in Malaysia? The SIA is grounded in the Town and Country Planning Act 1976, also known as Act 172, specifically Section 20B of the Act, introduced through the 2017 amendment, requires that development proposal involving major national infrastructure such as airports, highways, dams, and power stations must involve the National Physical Planning Council or NPPC and must include a submitted SIA report. This legal foundation means that developer cannot proceed with large-scale projects without first addressing their social impacts. Slide 5.2, protecting community well-being and social equity. Moving on to how the SIA protects communities. The SIA identifies and manages a project's impact on livelihoods, culture, health, and community cohesion. By conducting this assessment in advance, decision makers can anticipate problems such as displacement or loss of income and put mitigation measures in place before harm occurs. Importantly, the SIA also ensures that vulnerable and marginalized groups are considered so that the benefits and burdens of development are shared more fairly across the society. Slide 5.3, enhancing public participations. Another key function of the SIA is promoting public participation. It gives affected communities a structured platform to voice their concerns, which are then incorporated into project planning. This participatory approach increases the transparency and accountability, reduces the risk of social conflict, and builds public trust. When community feels genuinely heard, projects are more likely to gain social acceptance, and that social acceptance is essential for long-term sustainability. Slide 5.4, guiding implementation through the SIA manual. To standardize the process, Plan Malaysia has issued the Panduan Pelaksanaan Penilaian Impak Sosial or the SIA Implementation Guide. This manual outlines the stage of assessment, clarifies stakeholder responsibilities, and requires the preparation of Social Impact Management Plan or SIMP to monitor and manage impact throughout a project's entire life cycle. While challenges such as inconsistencies between states and enforcement gaps still exist, this guide marks a significant step forward in embedding social considerations into development planning. Slide 5.5, the role of EIA. Now, let us look at the EIA. The EIA is equally important as it protects the natural environment. It is a statutory requirement under Section 34A of the Environmental Quality Act 1974, meaning any developer carrying out a mass prescribed activity must submit an environmental impact report to the Director General of Environmental Quality before approval is granted. Activities requiring an EIA include large-scale housing developments, ports, mining operations, power generations, and land reclamations. And next, the role of EIA. So for this slide, the EIA process administered by the Department of Environment begins with a preliminary assessment and where needed, a more detailed review by a technical committee and ad hoc HOC panel. Together, the EIA and SIA function as complementary safeguards. The EIA under the Environmental Quality Act 1974 and the SIA under the Town and Country Planning Act 1976. In conclusion, these two assessments ensures that no development proceeds at the expense of either the environment or the community. Together, they uphold Malaysia's commitment to development that is socially responsible, inclusive, and truly sustainable in the long term. Thank you.
In conclusion, sustainable development is important to ensure that the needs of the present generation are met without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. In Malaysia, Environmental Impact Assessment EIA and Social Impact Assessment SIA play significant roles in supporting sustainable development. EIA focuses on protecting the environment by identifying and reducing potential environmental impact, while SIA focuses on safeguarding community well-being and managing the social effect of development projects. Although both assessments have different areas of focus, they work together to promote balanced, responsible, and sustainable development. Therefore, the implementation of EIA and SIA is essential in ensuring long-term environmental protection, social well-being, and sustainable growth in Malaysia.